All right, so welcome everybody. My name is Kenya Gibson. I'm really happy to be here today for our first official Good for Business, Good for You conversation about Black business and how to help them pivot the pandemic. I'm here with Metroplus Health Plan and a whole panel of wonderful guests and Black-owned businesses here in Harlem, and we're really excited to have this conversation today. And one of the things I want to start with before we get into the program is August is Black Business Month. So I was not aware of that, to be honest with you. It's a fact that I heard the other day, and all month long, it's been a celebration of Black-owned businesses. And one of the reasons why the timing is so perfect about all this is because one of the things about Black business is there's amazing integrity, creativity that is historic into the Black business community, starting from Black Wall Street all the way to Harlem. So we're really privileged to have this conversation and open up this dialogue. The whole point of this is to educate the community, right? So we want to make sure that we create awareness, we create resources, and we create mentorship, not just for the Black business community, but the community at large, because we know that if we're healthy as individuals, that it leads to us being prosperous as a community at large. So we want to definitely get into who we have today here on the panel. Before I get into that, I wanted to share a few more little statistics though about Black-owned businesses. So there are 2 million Black-owned businesses in the United States. 107,000 of these Black-owned businesses contribute to 23.9 million annual to the payrolls. So that's super important when it comes down to economics. Making Black-owned small businesses a very strong part to the economic engine of this country. So I think it's important to know why we're here and why we're doing what we're doing, because we have to really keep this thing healthy, strong, and going forward. And then joining us today, we have some Black-owned business owners, and then we also have a panel of some experts. So we have Christopher Hollins, who is the GM of Cash Management for Chase Business Banking, part of Advancing Black Pathways. We have Marjorie A. Cottigan. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. She is the Executive Deputy Commissioner of the NYC Human Resources Administration's Office for the Citywide Health Insurance Access, which is HRA. We have Lisa Ascalise, the inventress. We have Gearhart Law, Richard and Elizabeth Gearhart. And then we have Polo Green from the Harlem Masters Barbershop. We also have Princess Jenkinson from the Brownstone Boutique. We have Roger Milner, who is the Chief Growth Officer of Metroplus Health Plan, who helped me put all this together. And then we have Daryl T. Downing, who is part of the Harlem Business Alliance. So I just want to say welcome to everybody and welcome to the conversation. So we're just going to kind of dive right in. One of the things that we felt was very important to understand is some of the challenges that's going on right now in the business community when it comes to entrepreneurs, when it comes to creatives, since the pandemic started. And I'm just going to ask those who want to contribute to this question to unmute themselves now. And I want to start with one of our Black-owned businesses, Princess. I want to just ask you, what are some of the challenges that you've been facing since we have been dealing with the pandemic?
Thank you for having me on the panel today. And I think that that's an awesome question, because COVID-19 devastated small businesses, particularly across the US, and more specifically Black-owned businesses, and to make it even more specific, Harlem-owned Black-owned businesses. The devastation was great. I am one of a few businesses that have been able to come back. And even in coming back from the pandemic, we are seeing a very slow tick up. Clients are still nervous about coming out. Spending is still on hold. We have an election that is on its way. And people are really not ready to resume life in the way that we know it. As a boutique owner, I dress women for important moments in their lives, birthdays, anniversaries, cruises. But there are no gatherings for people to go to. Even churches have not fully opened. So we're going to see the devastation that COVID-19 has caused Black-owned businesses in Harlem for a very long time. I'm predicting maybe another year and a half before we see anything close to what we've become used to. And what we've become used to may really be no more. Most women are shopping online and trying to figure out that experience. But based on what I do, which is a very high touch, high customer service situation, it's going to be a slow crawl back.
Very interesting. So Daryl, you work with the Harlem Business Alliance. What would you say has been the climate if you had to describe it?
Yeah, well, I will piggyback on what Princess has just said. The epidemic has devastated our community. I think one of the major businesses that is hurt is the restaurant business, because they can't operate at all. And lately, they've been making a comeback with their grab and go, and they're building stands outside where they can bring their business back gradually. But as far as the flow that we're used to seeing, that's not happening, but that's starting to pick up. What I would advise people, business owners, to do is take advantage of every single grant opportunity, because generally businesses don't get grants. But in this environment, there has been an upswing in offers from all different types of let's call them philanthropists, for lack of a better word. And I would also urge small business owners to band together, black business owners particularly, because in order for us to thrive past this pandemic, we have to go forward in unity. And I think we make a mistake when we go forward under the MWBE banner, because that minimizes the black business contribution. So we have to think black business going forward and in unity. And I think we will be better making our small steps, but together. I'll talk more about those things as we go along.
Sure.
I'd like to add that from a health insurance perspective, we've seen the effect that COVID-19 has had on businesses as it pertains to health insurance that they once might have had for themselves and their employees. When COVID hit, many businesses were either forced to lay people off, reduce the number of hours that people had as they were working. Daryl talked about restaurants, and some restaurants that did either stay open and have outdoor seating, hours got minimized. The number of tips that people were getting was minimized. So we've seen an influx of people seeking health insurance because of the impact of COVID-19. And even people who had health insurance having to change the type of insurance they had. So they might have once been in a product or a program where they were paying a monthly premium. They no longer can afford that premium. So they had to be rescreened. And some people became eligible for programs like Medicaid that might have been free for them because of the change in their income and their financial status. So we've definitely seen a rising number of people getting health insurance in different types of levels, Medicaid, the essential plan, 2HP, because of the fluctuation in income and financial hardships that people have been experiencing from the health insurance perspective.
Right. So there's definitely a lot going on in that forefront. And Marjorie, you know, you kind of work on the other facet of what Roger does with Metroplus Health Plan. What are some of the things that you've seen since the pandemic has been going on?
Well, I was going to compliment some of the things that Roger said. Our office is focused on providing information, training, and connections to health insurance for New Yorkers who are uninsured. And we've certainly seen with partners like Roger and other partners that we work with, just the demand for health insurance for New Yorkers who are struggling. Not only business owners, but their employees. Every business has a set of employees and families behind that. So there is just tremendous demand for the kind of services and benefits that the city has to offer. And as an office that sits with the Human Resources Administration, what we're also seeing is that people don't just come with one need, they come with multiple needs. So if health insurance is the need, food insecurity is a need. If food insecurity is a need, cash assistance is a need. If cash assistance is a need, maybe somebody in the family had COVID and passed away, burial assistance is a need. So there's a domino effect of the needs that are appearing in the course of this pandemic and economic crisis. So we try to provide information and connections to all of that where we can.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I just want to ask Christopher to kind of chime in here because Marjorie, you mentioned something very key about finances, right? So we know that historically, the Black business community has had some limitations when it's come to that. The pandemic has, I feel like, heightened that. So Christopher, what are you seeing as far as what you've been experiencing in the marketplace?
So thank you very much for allowing me to participate. Hopefully you can hear me and it's not making too much background noise. What we're seeing is the following, unfortunately, right as the pandemic hit, about somewhere between 35 and 45% of Black businesses basically had to at least close their doors. And our biggest concern is now that this pandemic is in its 6th month, that, half of that percentage may never come back. To the points that have been brought up a little bit earlier, for Black business owners, we are over-indexed in hospitality and restaurant, which are keenly impacted. And for those who've been able to survive in a large metropolitan area like New York, it's been also difficult because delivery services are not cheap. And the ability to actually get to your market and consistently get them to shop with you or to buy from you has been part of the challenge. The way that we've been thinking about the business is the following, Kenya. We are in survival mode, so we are working with Black business owners through Advancing Black Pathways to help them survive. That comes down to very simple things like really understanding what your cash flow needs are. You may have never wanted to deal with accounting or cash flow before, but now it's actually essential that you know the basics. Making certain that there is any opportunity to, whether it's on the supplier side and getting the best supplier deal you can possibly get, and that's even possible during a pandemic, making sure that people are paying you if they owe you money so that you can keep and scrounge for every dollar that you have and that you've earned. For a number of them businesses to figure out what's your pivot point. What is a business that's connected to what you do that allows you to stay in business and to potentially keep your doors open. And then finally, making certain that you are, expanding your marketing capability. If you are a local business that's in retail, is there an opportunity through your website to get a broader base to look at you? Because every state's not in the same situation. While in New York, we're still in New Jersey, we still are relatively closed. There's other states that are not. So there are people who are shopping for clothes, who are shopping for key goods that people sell from a retail perspective that need to, and because there's so many people looking for Black businesses, we need to be out there to be seen such that we potentially could get orders from outside of the geographic area that we're in. The final piece that I'll share, Kinga, that we are doing, we're spending a lot of time on kind of advice and counsel, is making certain that even for the businesses that have managed their way through this process now, making sure they don't take their eye off the ball, because we don't know what the new normal looks like. I don't think normal looks like what it did in this time last year. It's going to be different. And so we've got to help continue to encourage those business owners to find ways to pivot so that they can maintain their passion while being able to manage their business even more tightly than they may have ever done so before.
Yeah, well, you make a good point about passion. And I think one of the things that has been produced because of this pandemic is that I see a lot of solo entrepreneurs. I see a lot of creators who are now starting to bring those ideas to life and starting to really just kind of step out and find ways to create opportunities for themselves and generate, money for their families, which is one of the reasons why I thought it was important to have Richard and Elizabeth Gearhart from Gearhart Law today, and along with Lisa Askeles, who's the inventress. So Richard and Elizabeth, what have you seen on the forefront as far as people coming to you with wanting to patent new ideas, new businesses, getting new business established, and so on and so forth?
Well, first of all, Kenya, thank you for having us on your program. It's an honor to be here, and we've really enjoyed hearing the other presenters discuss the issues that the community is facing. Like you said, innovation is really important, and during this time there has been an actual uptick in people approaching us with new ideas, new innovations, new ideas for businesses, new products. And there are a lot of things that entrepreneurs can do, first-time entrepreneurs can do to protect themselves for later on when their business grows that are relatively inexpensive. They can file their own provisional patents. They can file their own trademarks. It's always best to get the help of a professional, but these are things that a businesses can do to get a start. And so our situation has been that we have quite a few Black clients, minority clients. At Gerhardt Law, I would say somewhere around 30%. And the innovation that's come from everybody has just really been fantastic. And one interesting point I wanted to make was that the Patent and Trademark Office is very agnostic as to who is filing a patent or who is filing a trademark. In the many, many years that I've been doing this, no examiner has ever asked me about the background of any inventor or trademark owner. And what we see is that patents are granted to minority patent holders and women at the same rate as they are to other groups. And so I think minority business owners can really feel like they're going to get a fair shake when they apply for intellectual property. So I wanted to get that message out there and make sure that that was understood. So
that's great. That's great. Thank you, Richard, so much. And then I just want to kind of, talk to Lisa, because Lisa is a Black inventor. I've known Lisa for a while. I've met Lisa through the Gerhardts. She does a lot of work with them. And Lisa, so what have you kind of seen has been the temperature as far as clients you've been working with and things you've been seeing in the market since the pandemic has started?
First and foremost, thank you so much, Kenya, for having me on the show. It's a crazy world because initially in March, I was prepared for not getting business. My business is a luxury. If you're inventing a product and you want to put something on the market, it's not essential and it's not priority. So I was preparing myself emotionally and financially to sit back and just wait. But what happened was it happened the other way. We started getting an influx of inventors being home and being extremely creative and wanting to start something as independent entrepreneurs. Many people work from home and work for corporations, but it was an aha moment for many of my clients and many inventors that they wanted to go full throttle with developing and creating new product ideas and inventions. And this is where I piggyback what Richard just said. It's been crazier than ever with people coming in a very, very positive way, because I really didn't think it was going to happen. And the second point is, what are we doing? What's happening? In my business, I do align my inventors and entrepreneurs with other people who they can connect with and lift them up in their businesses. So it's been quite a journey, a very interesting one I did not expect. So it's been different, but it's wonderful in so many ways. Fearful for many, but moving forward in a positive direction.
Great. Well, I appreciate everyone's insight. Is there anything else anyone wanted to say in terms of this particular piece? No, we're good. All right, so we're just going to move the conversation along, because one of the things that we really spoke about when we were playing out this conversation was we wanted to talk about some of the challenges that were there, but we also wanted to make sure that there was an opportunity for people to learn about resources, which is why we've had every single one of the experts on today. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with Marjorie. I'm going to just ask all of our experts to kind of give a little background on their organization, exactly it is what they do, and then we'll kind of weave into the conversation from there. So Marjorie, we'll start with you.
You're muted.
Get myself off mute to be able to talk to you all. I am part of the Human Resources Administration, but more importantly, head of an office called the Office of Citywide Health Insurance Access. And what we do is walk and talk about health insurance. We go into the community and try to educate New Yorkers, both individuals, small businesses, and others, about the multiple options that are available in the wonderful state of New York for folks who are uninsured. We work with a variety of partners, including events like the one that Roger Milner represents, Metroplus, to really connect New Yorkers to health insurance. And we try to keep ourselves abreast of policy because, as everyone knows, we have an administration that's doing everything that it can to limit our availability of health insurance, and we try to stay abreast of that to make the needs of New Yorkers known. For us, the important thing in terms of resources that New Yorkers should know about is our website. We have a website that helps you understand what health insurance is, how to get it, what you need, what you might qualify for, and where you can get help to get health insurance. I'll talk about that website later on. But the other thing that we try to do as it impacts small businesses is try to be colleagues to our other city agencies who have resources to share with small businesses. And I want to make clear to New York City small businesses and Harlem small businesses that the Department of Small Business Services has resources for you. They actually have a COVID page on their website that provides links to grants, loans, other kinds of resources, including things like PPE, how to get PPE both for free and through suppliers that folks are going to need as they start to reopen their businesses. And then finally, as I spoke earlier, each business has employees. Those employees have families. And the needs that are starting to multiply as people go month after month after month through economic constraints are vast. The one thing that the Human Resources Administration does is makes available benefits for low-income New Yorkers, things like cash assistance, things like the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, burial assistance for those who are within certain income levels. Now, we know that many offices are closed. You're not walking into an HRA office at this point because of the restrictions of COVID, but there is both a website and an app that New Yorkers can use to apply, get benefits, get information, stay abreast of their benefits, call Access HRA. And I can give more details about all of that as time permits.
That's great information. And I know, Roger, with Metroplus Health Plan, you've made it very easy too for people to access health insurance. I know you have virtual signups that people can take advantage of now. So what are some of those things that people can take advantage of during this time?
Yeah, so first and foremost, I want to also say that as Kenya opened up the program, she mentioned that this is a good for you program. And I really want to talk a little bit about what good for you means. Kenya and I have known each other for a long time, and we decided to go on this quest to make sure that we brand both of our organizations in a very different way. And we wanted our organizations to be seen more than just either a health insurance company where I work or a media giant where she works at IR. So we came up with this slogan called Good for You. And Good for You was a term used to show that we wanted to make sure that we do everything that's good for people, whether it be their health is good for you, that their finances were good for them, their mental state is good for them. So we put on a lot of different initiatives and programs that address all those different things: financial well-being, mental well-being, health insurance well-being, physical well-being, and we've done a variety of things. So this is another version of Good for You, just giving information to the community. Metroplus Health Plan is a subsidiary of a huge hospital system known as New York City Health and Hospital, which is New York's public hospital system. So we're a huge organization. We represent over 500,000 members, and this year alone, we went from having 500,000 members at the start of the year to almost 570,000 members. So 70,000 people have signed up, mainly due because of this pandemic. And unfortunately, unemployment, rising. So I hate to say from, that terrible thing, we've been able to grow, but it's because of the demand for health insurance. So that's partnership between Metroplus and our parent organization is critical. As Marjorie said, we also partner with a lot of other city agencies to bring together resources. So during the height of the pandemic, we leased staff over to health and hospitals in order to help with the demand that was coming into the hospital with people filling up those emergency rooms. You know, we had our frontline staff there helping out as well. We helped the governor recruit doctors all over the country to bring them in to help support what was going on, to bring more physicians into the metropolitan area to help with the demand that was happening in the hospital. So those are the types of ways in which we even helped HRA. We filled some of the HRA places because of the demand of people applying for cash assistance. We helped the Department of Small Business Services because of all the people applying for unemployment. So we team up with other city agencies because of our connection to the city as well. I wanted to talk about, you talked about resources. So I want everyone to know that obtaining health insurance has probably been the easiest now than it's ever been in my history of working in the industry. Open enrollment has continued on. We work and live in a state of New York where our governor has been very forthcoming with his belief that everyone should have access to healthcare. So there's been continuous open enrollment even after the open enrollment period ended in January of this year. And normally people would have to wait until October. So every month since then, we've continued to roll open enrollment. So anyone who's interested in getting health insurance, they shouldn't worry that, oh, I have to wait for open enrollment. It's open now, so please seek out insurance. They've relaxed many of the eligibility and documentation requirements. So normally there would be some forms of documents and certain eligibility requirements that someone would have to meet in order to apply. A lot of those have been relaxed, and people can verbally sort of attest to what their status is or what their proof of income. They can verbally say, I make such and such, and they'll worry about the documentation later. They've deferred renewal, so people don't have to worry about being dropped from their health insurance because they have to recertify. Recertification dates have been put off until next year in many cases, so people don't have to worry about that. And probably one of the best things is that they allowed health plans like Metroplus to help people telephonically. We're all practicing social distancing, and people were sort of, how do I find a representative to get insurance? All you have to do is pick up the phone and call us, and we can do the enrollment telephonically in most cases. So those are many of the good ways that getting health insurance is easier. I know that we're talking to people with small businesses. We have a program called SHOP, which is a small business health operative program for any small businesses that have less than 100 employees. We can help them out. We have programs for individuals. We assist with housing for the homeless. We assist with, prenatal programs. We have a pill pack program for anybody who needs to get their medication mailed to them. So I can go on and on, but there's a ton of resources and available programs that we have as an insurance company, and we should be looked at as more than just an insurance company.
That's wonderful. That's great information. And there's no reason why everyone should not have health insurance, especially during this time. So, and just as important as health insurance is, finances and access to capital. So Christopher, I wanted to just kind of go to you and see what are some of the resources that Advancing Black Pathways has available, and, some of the Chase products that are available for people who have small businesses or are in need of some capital during this time.
Right. So a couple of things. So Kinga, to the point about advice and counsel, anyone that goes to jpmorganchase.com/ABP will hit the homepage that has all of the services and capabilities that show for Advancing Black Pathways. We've been very focused on the advice and counsel piece for many Black business owners, because we want to be able to serve Black business owners irrespective of whether they bank with us or not. That's been our focus. Let's help clients survive so that we can help them revive, and to an earlier point that was brought up, I think, by Daryl, to thrive. In order to do that, as I've spoken before, you got to get the financial house in order to the best of your ability, given the current circumstances. Figure out ways to squeeze 6 cents out of every nickel. Once you've done that, now you at least have the ability to figure out where your business can or should pivot. That's going to come down to, how many employees do I need to keep? What does my business model need to look like in this period of time? Do I need to do a replanning like every 3 weeks to make certain that I am keeping abreast of the things that are changing? Because states are changing their policies, what's open, what's closed, on an almost every 2-week basis. So you've got to be very fluid with what's going on in your own world in order to actually capture as much market as you possibly can. From a credit perspective, I'll be very straightforward and honest. For all small businesses, it is extraordinarily tough. Credit markets are very tight at this time, not just at Chase, but all banking institutions. There is a high premium paid to actually get access to capital right now. And I think that's in part because for 6 months, we don't understand what the financials are for many small businesses, let alone large businesses. And without being able to do that, it doesn't allow you to really understand whether that business is in a good situation for the long run or not. That said, it is not the time to feel either depressed or feel like you need to crawl into a shell around that. There's got to be a focus on what your business plan is, making sure you're communicating that with hopefully your financial advisors to the extent that you have some, whether that be the bank that you're banking with, if there's something you need from Chase and being able to talk to someone. If you go to the site that I referenced earlier, there is a way for you to actually get a chance to talk to someone and talk about what your situation is. And we try to be very helpful. The final piece I'll make on this, King, is that I know that this is very difficult for a lot of business owners. I've had people call me directly who are, Black business owners struggling to figure out how to work more effectively with their banks or what they're doing. This is a hard slog. I think there was another comment that was also made earlier by Daryl that you have to come together with your colleagues in business, your Black colleagues in business, so that you can continue to share what you're experiencing and help each other come through this, because it is very difficult to come through on your own. If you're a mid-sized $25 million business, it's difficult right now, let alone if you're a much smaller business. So there is what I'll consider to be expertise in numbers and making sure that you're leveraging that with the people that you know, whether they're in your direct business or not, so that you can get smarter faster to make the kind of changes you need to make your business survivable through this time.
Good point. Good point. So Daryl, I do want to ask you, what are some of the resources that are available through the Harlem Business Alliance that businesses can tap into, or smaller entrepreneurs or creatives?
Well, I'm here wearing 2 hats, actually. I'm representing the Harlem Business Alliance, but my company is I Am Harlem. And so what I do is I provide information to the business as well as the cultural community. And through information, that's how we can make intelligent moves in order to thrive in business. So in answer to your question, HBA has partnered with other community organizations to help small business community. We do workshops and consultations, and we do this with the Harlem, HCDC Harlem Community Development Corporation, as well as with the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce. And through these informational webinars now, before it was face-to-face, but there's lots of webinars. We do it at least twice a week, and we help businesses pivot. And that's the new terminology now, pivot. What can you do with your business knowledge that can help you remain viable, even if it means pivoting away from what you've been doing, but you have basic business knowledge. So we have webinars, like today we did one, how do you become a consultant? Because a lot of people have lots of expertise. So people are making other moves with their basic knowledge. Of course, we have the general financial literacy things of that nature, but we also direct people to sources for finance. How do you really get financing? Okay, who is willing to really give you some money? And New York State has stepped forward with these loans. They call it the forward loans, the New York forward loans. It's a 5-year loan, and it's paid back for nonprofits at 2%, and for-profits at 3%. And so those are very, very low interest loans, and 5 years is a goodly amount of time to get things together. And the max on that is $100,000. So every little bit helps. A lot of the business owners that I talk to, they really don't want to go into increased debt. But if an offer is made for 2%, if you're a nonprofit, and the profit is 3%, you're willing to look at that. So that's one aspect of what we do, mainly educate to the pivot. And so as we go on, I have other things to contribute, but I'd like to let other people contribute as well.
Great. Well, we appreciate that. So that's great information. Richard and Elizabeth, so I am a entrepreneur, or I'm a creative, and I have an idea and I want to protect that idea, or I just want to start an LLC, or whatever the case may be. What is the experience like coming to you at Your Heart Law to take the next steps to create that and bring it to life?
Hi, Kenya. Yeah. So we've been doing remote work for years. We've been using Zoom for years, and we've got a lot of clients we've never met in person, so this isn't new for us. I would like to say the approach that we take with entrepreneurs is not just to sell them a patent or sell them a trademark or sell them a copyright and walk away. What we like to do is take a look at their whole business, how the intellectual property fits into their business, what their budget is, what they really need, what they can afford right now, what maybe we can put off till later, and what type of product they really need to get the most protection they can get for themselves now. So, and really how it fits with your business and your business goals. And we have preferred associates like Lisa Ascalese, who do the next step of what we do, that we send people to. So if you were to approach us right now, we would help you file your LLC, because that would protect you financially, to some degree at least, from anybody who might want to sue you because they didn't like the way you did business or something. So you want to protect your financial assets as much as you can. And then we would take a look at your project. And I usually ask Richard to evaluate the projects because he sees so much more of it than I do.
Yeah, and I would also add that we talk with anybody who calls our office, and sometimes finances are an issue. Legal work is not always the cheapest, but there are a lot of resources out there that anybody can rely on to get some basic protection for their business. So the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, uspto.gov, has a wealth of information there about if you want to file your own patent or your own trademark. There's lots of online resources on the topic. Anybody can just Google it and get lots of advice. We usually recommend that if you can afford it, to work with an experienced professional, but that's not always possible. And I'm always explaining the process of, to a potential client, of how they can do it themselves if they'd rather do it that way than go through a law firm. So we're always happy to help anybody who needs that kind of help. And sometimes the steps are a little bit complicated, but the patent office especially has people that are staffed to help independent inventors who want to file their own applications. It's easy to call the patent office. They have a helpline, and they can get support that way. So it's usually better if you can have a professional do it, but just to get a start, that's a good place to go.
Great, great. And then Lisa, I just want you to explain to everybody what it is you do, because you help a lot of people get their product in front of the right platform. So can you explain a little bit about what you do and how you help small businesses and people who have products? Oh, I think you're muted. That's okay.
Thank you. What I do, my business is Inventing A to Z. And what I do is I help people to develop products from concept to fruition realistically. So I set up consultations with my clients first to get a good understanding of how passionate they are about their product and whether it's realistic or not to move forward financially for some. So I really appreciate what Christopher is talking about in terms of and Marjorie and everybody else talking about understanding your finances and not to squeeze yourself in business, because as I mentioned before, my business is really a luxury until you have the finances to create a business. Okay, so I walk people through the entire concept and I evaluate everything, the product, whether or not it's on the market, and of course send them to Richard and Elizabeth and their team to find out if it's a viable product to be patented. And that's one of the steps. I also take them through the manufacturing process. But all of this is verbal first. So it's all having them understand the entire process without jumping in and having to refinance their home just because they have a good idea or invention. And I do complete the process, I'm going to say about 85% of the time. My clients come to me, I help them develop it, help them get a patent, help them prototype, manufacture, and bring them to national television, which is QVC, HSN, and eFine Live, and ultimately to retail stores. I'm a hand holder, so I walk my clients through everything. I stay with them. It's a very scary business. You just don't know what the climate is going to be. I mean, facing the pandemic right now, we're aware of that, but so that's what I do. I just help everybody. My role is to help people succeed. That's the bottom line. Help you succeed in an innovative market.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I just kind of want to bring it full circle, and I want to open it back up to the business owners that are on the call today or the Zoom with us, and see if there are any questions that you have for the experts that are on our panel today, whether it be from health insurance, finances, product ideas. Are there any questions from our business owners that are here today, or anything that you want to contribute that we didn't have a chance to converse about today? I know the gentleman in the middle here, sir, you were kind of quiet, so I want to make sure that you have an opportunity to contribute to the conversation. Yes.
Unmute. Okay,
There
can
you
you hear
go.
me now?
Yes, we can.
All right. My name is Timothy Polo Green, owner of the Harlem Master Barbershop. This is a question for the husband and wife in terms of finances. Do you believe that it's best to be an LLC or a single corporation?
By single corporation, do you mean a corporation or a sole proprietorship?
Sole proprietorship.
Definitely better to be an LLC. So you'll have to file, you still have to file, you'll have to file an extra tax return. But if there's ever any financial issues, the LLC can act as a shield to help protect your company and your personal assets. And LLCs, again, these are things that you can do yourself. Daryl's organization probably is familiar with this, and he may be able to give you help, or you can contact us and we can walk you through the process. But we definitely recommend an LLC over a sole proprietorship. So, did that answer?
Polo, we do workshops. We just did a workshop on what entity should you put your business into. So just stay tuned. And the next time we have that type of workshop, just make sure that you contact me or I'll contact you. And then you can go through all of the different ramifications and different ways that you can protect yourself. Sole proprietorship offers the least amount of protection in your business.
Great. Good to see you, John.
All right, my brother.
So Polo, I have a quick question for you, because I always considered a barbershop to be a recession-proof type of business. So how are you finding businesses going for you? Because I feel like everybody always needs a haircut.
Exactly, it's true. Well, business is picking up. It's slow because everyone is very nervous about the COVID-19 virus, and a lot of people are taking a lot of precaution so that they don't contract the COVID-19. And business is coming around slow. There's a lot of unsure clients, or clients that's unsure about, should they come out to get their hair cut. But I think it's very essential for them to consider to come out and get their hair cuts. And continue to keep up their grooming because it's very important. All that's part of the health and safety of preventing COVID-19. A lot of the barbershops should be practicing a lot of safe sanitizing and sterilizing positions when you come into their shop, such as myself. When you come to my shop, I have the Purell sanitizer at the door. I also have face masks that I give out to clients that do not come in with a mask, but every client that comes in is required to have a mask. Business is slowly coming around, but it's going to be a while. It's going to take time because a lot of New Yorkers are very, very afraid to come out and start to socialize and mingle again. So it's going to take a while, but I'm going to be here, do my best to welcome them as they come in and help them along the way and give them the confidence that they need for them to know that it's okay to come to the barbershop. Okay, I thought the barbershops was really an essential business, basically, because people really needed to keep themselves groomed, and that was something that a lot of people was able to do. So hopefully, as time moves forward, we'll be able to see our businesses increase. Mine is slowly but surely increasing. I did lose some employees because of the pandemic, but as God has it, He always makes a way for you to receive new employees. So everything is coming along slow but sure.
And yeah, I wanted to say to the gentleman,
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Am I muted? I'm sorry. I'd like to say to the gentleman from the barbershop and to Princess that Metroplus is here. Please, reach out to us if you are interested in doing things to expose your business and to get more promotion around your business. We're a partner together. So if we need to leverage our joint resources and you need to utilize us for some of your media exposure, or you need to use our capital for some digital promotion or social media promotion, or even when you get back to in-person events, that's what we're here for. Marjorie talked about food insecurity. And so, I naturally think about a barbershop as a great place to, as we come into the holiday season, people are going to be, concerned about, that Thanksgiving meal or Christmas, is Christmas going to look the same? Is back to school for my kids going to be the same? I want to work with all of the businesses on this Zoom and whoever's listening, and work together to make sure the community has what they need. So we want to do food feeds, we want to do PPE distribution, we want to do, talks like this and hold more panel discussions. We want to promote ourselves in creative ways. And, working with Kenya, and I've worked with Marjorie, we could certainly do things to help bring your business back together. And that's what it's all about, working together, pooling our resources, and hitting the community as one team.
Great. And I'm sorry, go ahead.
Mike, Tony, that I've worked with you before with Metroplus doing haircuts on 125th Street and 7th Avenue. Remember, I believe you was over there also, but I worked with you guys, and I've definitely welcomed any promotions, any kind of assistance toward having people recognize my business more, so that they can see that I am definitely a community-based barbershop, and that I'm looking forward to service in the community. So any assistance towards that, I really would appreciate.
Amazing. And I do want to hear from Keisha, because you've been kind of quiet down there, and I love your Metroplus background. So I kind of want to hear anything that you want to contribute as far as some final thoughts or some things that you've been seeing that you think could be helpful.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Great. Well, what just happened is what exactly should be happening, and I'm so glad to be a part of Metroplus Health. My name is Keisha Daniels, and when I was presented with this project, 3 people came to mind, and they are on this call, and that is Mrs. Princess Jenkins, that is Mr. Polo Green of Harlem Masters Barbershop, and definitely Mr. Darrell, I Am Harlem. And so I am very happy and excited to be a part, and kind of to piggyback on what my boss, Mr. Rogers, said. We are here for you. I am currently working for Metroplus doing community engagement and community outreach in Brooklyn and Staten Island, but I'm pretty sure that we have the resources in Harlem and other places throughout the 5 boroughs to help you and to be there for you. And that is what this is all about. Harlem Week is all about unity in the community. And once again, thank you so very much. It's wonderful and awesome to be here, and I am truly excited. So thank you so much.
Kenya, before we close, I just want to add some additional resources because we've been very fortunate, and I'm grateful to Roger and to you for bringing this panel together to really speak to the needs of small businesses and the individuals that they employ. But in a city like New York, when we talk about the diversity of that city, we're also talking about our undocumented brothers and sisters who also need the same kind of help and support that we've been talking about here. So I don't want to not acknowledge that there are resources in New York for New Yorkers who are undocumented. We're fortunate to have a public hospital system, the Health and Hospitals Corporation, that will treat New Yorkers regardless of ability to pay. And in fact, they have a new program known as NYC Care for New Yorkers who can't afford health insurance or for whom health insurance is out of reach in terms of a federal formula of income, where they can get connected to a primary care doctor, have a member services number 24/7, get a card that tells them what their costs are going to be for services, and have connection to pharmacy services as well. And that is now operating in 3 boroughs, but by September, it will be operating in all 5. So I wanted to make sure that New Yorkers who cannot afford health insurance, perhaps cannot get health insurance for immigration reasons, know that they can get care in the city of New York, that their children can get health insurance through Child Health Plus. There's no children in New York who should be without health insurance because of the Child Health Plus program. And in terms of getting resources for low-income New Yorkers, nyc.gov/accesshra is your platform to get food stamps, to get cash assistance as you needed. And for small businesses, it is nyc.gov/COVID-19biz will get you a wealth of resources in terms of surviving and thriving for your business.
Great. That's great information. And then what I will do now is I'm just going to go around and I will start with you, Daryl, but I just want everybody to kind of give their final thoughts and then their contact information so that we can, reach out to you and be in contact if we need to do that. So Daryl, I will start with you. Final thoughts and your contact information, please.
Okay, and the final thoughts, I'm going to end as I started when I said that we have to come together as in organizations with Black businesses. And I stress the Black businesses because prior to the pandemic, Black businesses were under fire anyway. So Harlem Business Alliance has partnered with national organizations to empower Black businesses. This Saturday at 12 o'clock, we're doing a town hall. The name of the organization is Black Business Empowerment Commission. At 12 o'clock, we're going to have the town hall, and we have business owners nationally who are going to share ideas similar to what we did just now. If you guys are interested, just shoot me an email, and I'll send you all the links. That's Daryl T. Downing, but it would be ddowning@hbany.org. My information is in the chat box. So you can just take that down, shoot me that information, and we can go forward in the future, because going forward alone, it's going to be lonely. So we have to band together, in some cases, pool resources so that as a community, we can survive. I thank you for having me on behalf of Harlem Business Alliance and Regina Smith, who is our executive director. I thank you again.
We appreciate you, sir. Thank you. And then Princess, I'm just going to go up to you and ask that you would add any final thoughts, and then here we can find out information on your boutique.
Sure. This is Princess Jenkins again, and my final thought would be this. We want you to go out and support Black-owned businesses. Every dollar that you spend in the Black community should stay in the Black community and will turn over in the Black community. So whether or not it's clothing, a barbershop, a bookstore, or a restaurant, buy local, buy Black. We're making a COVID comeback, but we need everybody in the community to come out and be supportive. Go around the corner from where you live and down the block. Sometimes you have to walk an extra 5 blocks to find a store, but find it and spend your money there. It's important that we vote with our dollar. This is Princess Jenkins from the Brownstone Boutique in Harlem.
Thank you. Marjorie?
Thank you so much again, Kenya and Roger and all of my fellow panelists for what has been a really exciting dialogue. I'm going to say one thing that's in addition to my name, my office of Citywide Health Insurance Access at HRA. My email address is Cadigan M, my last name spelled with the first initial, at dss.nyc.gov. My phone number is in the chat. But one important thing that I think we are all realizing as we go through both the COVID crisis, the economic crisis, and our reckoning with racism is that we live in a city that needs resources. And to get them, we have to complete the census. So that's the one thing I did not want to leave this event without reminding people how important completing that census form, making sure you are counted so that we all can have the resources that we need to have to sustain our city, our businesses, our way of life. Please complete your census and vote.
Nice, great advice. Christopher?
Just a couple of things. One, the website one more time is jpmorganchase.com/ABP. That is a website that has a lot of our capabilities, including an opportunity for you to fill out a form if you want to be in contact with us, as we can talk to you about profiling your business, understanding what you're doing today, maybe make some recommendations on ways to help you survive this period of time, helping connect you with additional resources, much like Daryl and others have talked about. What we're really focused on today is ensuring that Black business owners, who are some of the most resilient business owners that exist on this planet, they have had obstacles put in front of them, even in the best of times. And now in the worst of times, this is a time to band together to make certain that you are not out there on your own trying to make all of this happen by yourself. There are people who are here to help you, not only on this panel, but other institutions that you do business with. Make sure you're reaching out and getting the help that you need, because it could make the difference between your business being able to survive this or you having to shut your doors. Thanks.
Thank you for being a part of this. And then Mr. Green, I just want to circle back to you. Any final thoughts? Oh, hold on, I think you're muted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. Okay, first of all, I want to thank Keisha Daniels for inviting me to be a part of this group. I think it is amazing. You achieved a lot of information that will help me in my business. I would like to thank all the panelists that came on and sharing their information with us. I hope we can continue to share information. And my business name is Polo Green. My shop is Harlem Masters Barbershop, located on 142nd Street and Lenox Avenue. Phone number is 646-388-0450. And my email is polothebarber@aol.com. So I'm looking forward to linking up with quite a few of everyone. And I really thank you for allowing me to come on and join this panel. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and then I'm just going to go to Elizabeth and Richard. Any final thoughts for us?
Sure. Thanks again for inviting us. It's been very informative, and we've enjoyed meeting everybody. I think it's important to look inward, but it's also important to look outward. So, for example, one of our stellar paralegals that we've had working for us at Gerhardt Law for the last couple of years lives in Harlem. Her husband is an artist, and she's going to school for museum studies, but she's been an important part of our team now for several years. And so there are opportunities for people for things like remote working and interacting in different ways. And I think that that's one way that the community can further strengthen itself, further move itself forward. There are plenty of businesses like ours that want to take advantage of the talent that exists, and now is a good time to look outward as well. So that's would be my final comment, and thank you again for having us on the show. So
You're welcome. And then just your website where people can find out more information.
you can find us at www.gearhartlaw.com. It's spelled GEARHARTLAW.com.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And then the inventress, Lisa Askeles, final thoughts.
Thank you again, Kenya. So I just want to echo what everybody is saying, really. I want to keep the conversation going because this is very important. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to reach out to each other, because that's the way we're going to keep our economy moving and growing and building. So I want to echo that. And my website is inventingatoz.com. That's inventingatoz.com. Email me info@inventingatoz.com. Call me. I pick up the phone, 732-647-5433. Thanks again, Kenya, and I appreciate everyone on this panel. I'd like to reach out to everyone, by the way. They're all wonderful.
Everybody gets connected for sure.
So much.
So, and last but never least, Mr. Roger Milner from Metroplus Health Plan. Final thoughts from you, Roger?
Well, first, I'd just like to let the panelists know that I truly appreciate you contributing to this excellent community conversation, which is what we called it. Your information will go a long way with letting not only people from Harlem, but people all around New York City, people all around our state and our country know that, you know, we have it together here in New York, and we really know how to band together and help our community. So thank you for those contributions, and I'd love to work with all of you. Metroplus, we have products for everybody. We have products for individuals. We have products for businesses. We have products for people, as Marjorie said, who are undocumented, because our hospital system has that NYC Cares program. I really want to thank Kenya, you know, my sister, who always like champions these types of crazy ideas that I have, and she comes, you know, at a moment's notice. So thank you for all the work that you did. You can reach us at Metroplus at www.metroplus.org. That's www.metroplus.org. We have a virtual office on our website. So if you're a business or you're an individual and you want to specifically get in touch with a rep who speaks your language, who is in your neighborhood, because you can search by representatives in your zip code or your borough, or if you want to see a rep who's of your same culture. Sometimes people want to work with people who look like them. You could see our representative staff and their contact information in our virtual office. You can also call us at 1-855-809-4073. That's 855-809-4073. And if you hit prompt 3, that'll take you straight to one of my facilitated enrollers out in the field. They're working remotely, but they can help people telephonically. And we're here to offer any assistance to businesses or individuals. And please, let's work together. And thank you, Kenya, for hosting this, and everyone on the panel for making this a great community conversation.
My pleasure. I got to note that Mr. Downing has one last antidote, so please, sir.
As we say in our pivot workshops, don't waste a good crisis. Thank you.
That's a good point. It's a great way to end. So I'm just, again, thank you everybody for showing up today. We appreciate the conversation. This was super important for our community, just to really be able to kind of get this kind of information out there. We will continue to be doing these. So please, you know, stay tuned for some things that we have coming. Again, my name is Kenya Gibson. It's been a pleasure. Be well, be blessed, and stay focused. All right, until next time.
Thank you so much, Kenya. Visit us at HighLink.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Kenya. Thanks, Metro Plus.